Hey. Assalamu Alaikum. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Coach Naima, guiding you through the mindset, faith, and strategy that you need to build a life and business that you're proud of. Welcome to Unveiled, Real Women, Real Talk, where faith meets fire and business is bossed up. Here, we dismantle mental and emotional barriers, manage those sneaky saboteurs, and create powerful business strategies that elevate every part of your life. Are you all ready to rise? Let's go. All right, so guess what? Today is the call out moment. We're not sugarcoating anything today because you've been saying, oh, I want to be consistent. I want to grow my business. I want to elevate my life. But your results, they're not matching your desires. And it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're incapable. It's because there's hidden saboteurs running the show and you don't even realize it. So let's ask the real question. What are saboteurs? Let's break this down. Saboteurs are those internal voices that automatically tell you certain things, they're patterns. And guess what you say to yourself? What's happening? Are these things working against me? Absolutely, they are. They sound like, hey, I'll start tomorrow. Oh my God, it has to be perfect first. I don't really feel ready yet. What if it doesn't work? And because they sound familiar, you trust them. But sis, they're costing you your elevation. Remember, this is all about the elevated Muslima. So let's make it relatable. Let's get real. How many times have you started something that you didn't finish? How many times have you overthought something so much that you talked yourself out of it? How much have you compared yourself and then you shrunk back? Well, guess what? This isn't a discipline problem, it's a saboteur problem. And because it's a saboteur problem, I want to introduce you to some key saboteurs. So, a few of them, these are some of the most common ones that I see. The perfectionist, it has to be right before I get started. The procrastinator, that I'll do it later or when I feel ready, or that feeling where they have to rush it in order to get it done. The overthinker, let me think about this a little more. I need to put a little more stuff into it. The people pleaser, what will they think about me? Well, I'm just going to say yes when I really want to say no. Well, guess what? Here's the truth. They don't protect you, the saboteurs. They keep you stuck, small, and safe. All right? And we don't want to stay stuck, small, and safe, right? And we want to be safe, but not in the way that a saboteur makes us feel safe. And that safety is generally from something that we have grown accustomed to. Well, faith and the saboteur's connection, because your saboteurs don't affect your mindset, they affect your faith. They don't just affect your mindset, they affect your faith. So, because every time you delay what Allah placed on your heart, doubt your ability, or move in fear instead of trust, you're choosing your saboteur over your faith. And remember, an elevated Muslimah is all about tawakkul, right? But the real cost of it is consistency. The real cost of it is confidence. The real cost of it is opportunities. The real cost of it is income. The real cost of it is your peace. Oh my gosh. The real cost of trusting the saboteur is your peace. So it's not just affecting your life, it is affecting your faith. And the worst part is that they make you feel like it's your fault, right? So, how do we shift into awareness? Well, the good news is that you can't change what you don't see. And today, you're starting to see it. So, I want you to ask yourself, which saboteur shows up most in my life? Because guess what? Awareness is the first step to elevation. So let's go back and talk a little bit about some of those saboteurs we just talked about. Number one, the judge. The judge judges you, yourself, other people, situations, circumstances. And the judge is the toughest saboteur, and it is constantly going on in your head. How do we know that? Because while you're driving, the judge is usually talking. Who do they think they are? Why don't they move? What are they doing? I can't understand. The judge is talking while you're on social media. What is going on with this person? They're judging other people. The judge is the one that when you're getting ready to make a big move, the judge says, "No, no, 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 no. What's going on? What do you think you're doing?" And it's all about you talking to yourself inside. It's the voices that you're hearing inside of your head. And because the judge is so loud and so strong, you have to begin to silence the judge. The people pleaser. Oh my gosh, so many women are people pleasers. They are constantly wanting to make sure that the other person's needs are met and they neglect their own, and then they become resentful. But it's your fault. No, girl, it is you. It is not them. The victim. The victim is one who blames everything on the outside and never blames themselves or holds themselves accountable. Well, it was the car. It was the person. It was my ex. It was my friend. It was the children. They blame everything on the outside for why something didn't go right, why something went awry, whatever. They are, they blame everybody, the victim. They're always the one that everything is happening to me and, about me, not for me, but oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But the victim, stop doing that. The perfectionist, everything has to be perfect. Perfectionists generally are people who, do planning, right? Event planners, event managers, and some of these saboteurs, they work well in business situations, but when it carries over to their personal life, it starts to really sabotage them. So again, perfectionists, they want everything to be absolutely perfect, and they can't function and go on unless it is. Not only the perfectionists, but we also think about the controllers. These sneaky saboteurs want to control everything, especially other people. Why? They want to control other people so that they can feel like they are in control. But most of the times they are getting out of control. The more controllers try to control, the more they get out of control. And the more that people absolutely do not want to be around controllers because people don't like to be controlled. So now going back to what which saboteur shows up most in your life? These are just a couple of them again. The judge, the people pleaser, the controller, the victim, the perfectionist, the overthinker, the hyper vigilant, the hyper rational. All of these different types of saboteurs can show up, but which one shows up most in your life? And when you begin to become aware, this is the first step to your elevation. So excited, right? So let's talk about the solution. So let me be real with you. This is not something you fix by just trying harder. And it's not something that you can fix yourself because if you could fix it, you wouldn't be doing it, right? Because these are patterns, they're deep. And as we stated, and you'll hear me say this all the time, you are living what you believe right now. Again, let me say that. You are living what you believe right now. So you're conditioned. And in the bigger word, you are programmed. You have been programmed to be the person that you are right now. And this is exactly why I created the life and business coaching membership at the Lady Khadijah Institute. Because inside that space, we don't just talk about goals, we identify the saboteurs, right? I challenge everyone inside of the membership to overcome their mental and emotional barriers because those mental and emotional barriers are things that hold you up as a response to a saboteur. And if you can't manage the saboteur, then again, it begins to do what? Sabotage your entire life. And how you do one thing is how you do everything because it is your belief system that has you believing that way. So inside of the membership, I challenge them to overcome these things. And guess what? We begin to shift the saboteur and replace them with aligned, faith-centered thinking. And also, we begin to manage those saboteurs by moving into a sage mode. And if you're looking to have a life that is going to reflect transformation, then you should join the Lady Khadijah Institute. You can go to my website, www.ladykhadijahinstitute.com, and click on courses, and then click on the Bossed Up membership. But again, I'm going to ask the question, what saboteur that I spoke about today resonates with you that continues to show up in your life? And if you say none, then that's the judge. They're convincing you that you don't have a saboteur. And it's like, this lady doesn't know what she's talking about, but I absolutely do because I have changed people's lives. I have gotten women to see themselves. And now, when they change, everything around them begins to change. You don't even have to ask other people to change. When they see you changing, they eventually change, or you change so much that that situation, circumstance, friendship, relationship, businessship, partnership, whatever, a spiritual enlightenment and or spiritual shift that you begin to make is transformational. Absolutely transformational. All right. So, sis, imagine this, that you actually follow through with overcoming these mental and emotional barriers, that you follow through managing these saboteurs, and that you actually begin to trust yourself. You begin to trust yourself. So a lot of women are walking around saying, I'm healed, oh, I'm emotionally intelligent, but their saboteurs are still sabotaging them. And you can tell because the behavior and their lifestyle is consistent with sabotage. You begin to gain the awareness, and then what ends up happening is that you begin to move without overthinking. You begin to stop shrinking in whatever thought process. You stop worrying about other people, other things, and what other people think. And then the version of you that you've always wanted to be, she's not that far away. She starts to peek out. She starts to bloom. She's not just buried under those patterns that we're ready to break away from. She is evolving. All right. She's evolving. And so now what I want you to do is, in the next episode, number one, we're going to be talking about becoming her. That's the one thing. How to become her. The her that you've always wanted to be. Not just identifying what's holding you back, but stepping fully into the woman that you're called to be. So beautiful. So let me share with you again. Next episode, we are talking about becoming her. This episode, we talked a little bit about those saboteurs, right? But next episode, we're going to talk about becoming her. And if this episode hit you, don't ignore it. This is the moment of awareness. So share this episode with a sister who needs this. Tag me and tell me which saboteur you're ready to break free from, and if you're serious about your own personal growth. And if you're serious, join the Life and Business Coaching membership again. Stop trying to figure it out alone, because if you could do it, you would have. And stop starting and stopping the things that you want to actually change in your life. So come into a space where you're supported, guided, and you're stretched into your next level, because I am going to stretch you. Because, sis, your elevation requires more than motivation, it requires transformation. All right. All right. So, again, if today's episode spoke to you, come get a little bit closer. Come and join the Life and Business Coaching membership. Step into a community of women rising just like you. And don't forget, connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. And don't forget about the Wound community, Woman Owned $1 Million Business on Facebook. And you can follow me personally on all my social media channels as well, so we can stay connected throughout the week. So may your faith be strong, may your fire stay lit, and until next time, Assalamu Alaikum. Peace out.